Welcome back to Television 87. Thank you guys for watching. Let's jump into a Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 15, episode 16, the season finale, okay? And there was a lot going on, especially toward the end of the episode. So I mainly want to focus on Drew and Ralph and Courtney because they had a lot going on. But I will get into some of the other details with the rest of the ladies. And I'm gonna let you guys know right now, I did not take notes for this season finale. So I'm gonna try not to keep jumping all over the place. But if I do kind of start to go a little, off, then that's why, because I don't have my notes written down like I normally do. But first things first, we see like Drew and Ralph, they are having a conversation about Drew coming home late and waking Ralph up in the middle of the night. And that's why Ralph has been sleeping in another room because she's doing the movie and it's interrupting his sleep. But really, Drew is like, I want my husband in the room with me. Like, this is weird. And then she gets into the whole video about Courtney calling her a bitch, this, that, and the third. Ralph doesn't seem too phased about it. He's like, look, I've heard Marlo call you a B. I've heard Sheree call you a B. So and so call you a B. He's not even upset, emotional at all. He's just like, whatever, another day in the neighborhood. So they go downstairs. Drew goes downstairs to try to get away from that. They end up talking to Allison in the kitchen for a minute, and Allison's like, "Yo, Ralph, if your wife is saying she's upset by someone else calling her out of her name, you gotta say something. You just can't be so nonchalant about it." Basically, that's what she's saying in so many words. And Ralph is like, "Hey, yo, Allison, I got this. Chill. Don't worry about it." Drew feels embarrassed, of course, because Ralph don't give a damn. So she walks off, and you can see they're in the living room right now, another area in the house. She's like, I can't believe you. Like, why you keep embarrassing me like this? So she's upset, but Ralph really, all in all, is not really trying to hear. He ain't really trying to hear that. So this scene, I say Tierra needs to be on the show more often because Tierra is a key. Tierra, Sheree's daughter, she can hang. They're basically talking about Bob bringing the secret daughter to, the reveal party, the sip and see for Sheree's grandbaby. Tierra knew, but she, like the other kids, thought that Sheree knew already. All in all, Bob was wrong for not telling Sheree about this other daughter when they were married. But Tierra was like, "Man, these men are a trip." Something to the effect of that what she said. But Tierra seems like she's a fun girl. Shoot, bring her on the show. Hell. But anyway, we get Kenya and her dad, and little Brooklyn is there too. She's telling, hey, dad, I want to have another baby. I got embryos. I'm not sure if I'm even going to tell Mark about it or not, but I really want to extend the family. So I want to do like surrogacy or whatever. But, Kenya's dad is like, just wants to make sure that she's okay. He's like, oh, look, you had almost died when you had the Brooklyn. I don't want you to go through that again. But she's reassuring him like there are other methods to having a child now. And it's not, she doesn't have to put her body through that anymore. So that's basically what their whole conversation is. Um, and Marlo brings Scott Lee her friend boy, not boyfriend. The producers were funny to let archive to check it out. She seems really giddy for Scott Lee. I don't even know if they're dating for real or what's going on with that, but he can't meet the boys yet, but he can come down to her place of establishment, her business, and see how she flows during the week. So what are you doing, Scott Lee? Um, in a couple days, Candy's having a rap party. Her and Todd, they finished the movie The Past. They were gonna do a screening of the trailer, a little party, yada yada yada. Drew's gonna perform, and you can come if you have some time. So now, here is where it's like the beginning of the end. They go to counseling. They're back together because remember, Drew said that she was still going, but Ralph had put it on pause. Okay, they were sitting there with Dr. Ken, and Ralph is trying to explain why the heck he is out of the room, and Dr. Ken, he ain't buying it. Okay, Dr. Ken is not buying it. Drew is confused because the movie has wrapped and he's still sleeping in the other room. But Ralph is like, yeah, Drew can get what she wants and I can get what I want. I like to sleep at the room a certain temperature and she likes it this way. So if we're separate, it just makes for, a better environment. But Drew brings up the text messages. Some of the kids are kind of questioning, like, okay, well, why is daddy sleeping in the other room, like what is going on? Drew kind of reassures them it's nothing to be concerned about, but it'll all be back to normal once the movie's over. But again, like Drew said, the movie is over. He ain't come back to the room. It's just like a disconnect. Dr. Ken calls it out, and I feel like Dr. Kim really just want to tell Ralph to his face like that he just ain't it. But as a counselor, he can't really do that. Um, but he basically says, okay, y'all definitely need to continue with the marriage counseling because there's clearly a disconnect. So, what is going on in this scene right now? We get to the party, the rap party. Drew is, all nice and jazzed up. She's gonna do a performance after, the trailer is shown. But before that, we see Allison and Courtney. They're talking, and then Drew happens to walk up. But Allison is not feeling Courtney because she's confirmed, like, hey, yo, you called my sister a bitch. Like, what's up with that? And then you tried to lie about it. So Courtney is like tippy toeing around it, but she did say, you know, yes, I did call you a bitch, and it's like that whole thing, which is still kind of weird and confusing. But Allison does not play about Drew, okay? Allison sees right through the BS. She sees right through Ralph and his shenanigans, and she's not playing with Courtney either, okay? She is not playing. And I like that Allison is here for Drew because sometimes Drew is just kind of like on her own, and Allison is the only one really who's, be taken up for her. Um, so yeah, they're definitely the that's when Drew is finding out, oh yeah, she did, I knew the bitch was used, but I'm just finding out, oh, it was absolutely definitely about me. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you call me a bitch, whatever? So yeah, that was still kind of like, girl, Courtney, you doing too much. You doing too much. Um, so Drew gives her a little performance. She does a good job. And okay, we're gonna move on because now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of things, right? Like I said, I really wanted to focus on Drew and Ralph. So we see on the screen that production wraps January, the end of January. And y'all remember this stuff about the divorce came out in March. So they had to get them cameras back up and rolling. Drew Sidora files for divorce, claiming husband Ralph Pittman is a serial cheater and an abuser. Drew Sidora's husband Ralph Pittman files for divorce after 8 years of marriage, confirms there is no chance for reconciliation. And you guys remember, it was like a question of if Drew filed first or if Ralph filed first, because they were like an hour apart from each other, and the blogs put out first that Ralph had filed to make it seem like he actually went there first, but Drew technically beat him to it. That was a whole mess within itself. And now it's this whole thing about, we gonna come back to Sonya in a second, but this whole thing about who is Ty, and are um did Ty and Drew have an affair? Like, how did they start linking up? Because while Drew is in the confessional, real time, we see it, that producers put on the screen 8 p.m. Mimi Faust from Love and Hip Hop alleges that Drew and Ty were having some sort of affair, and yada yada yada. 8:01 p.m. It's gone. It's gone viral. Okay, it's taken off, and Drew is in the middle of her interview, so they're asking her questions about Ty, and she's like, I met Ty on the set of Candy's of the movie, Candy and Ty's movie. She's a friend of my co-star, yada yada yada. But it's like they're still kind of holding back. They're both, Ralph and Drew, they're both calling their lawyers saying, "Hey, can I say this? Can I say that?" And they're not really talking like that. Even though we are getting some of the tea, they're still holding back. But one person who is giving all of the tea is this lady here. Okay, Courtney, on a hot mic, just spilling everything, the cup runneth over. Okay, so with all of this, in between all the extra interviews, now she says she sees why Drew was pushing hard for that adoption, because she claims that Drew wanted to run off with her gay lover and then have the child be taken care for by Ralph's money, with the adoption or whatever when they split. So, oh my gosh, they've been getting on Courtney. So let's get into the clip so you guys can actually hear what she had to say.
Well, I had heard Drew's a good time, she's bisexual, and I was like, really? So I just asked Ralph. It was no secret. Like, she has fun with girls too, but he's aware of it.
What do you know about Drew and her girlfriend?
I know that Drew visits her.
Where is she visiting her?
Texas. I know that Ralph has a lot of the discovery.
What do you mean Ralph has a discovery?
Like when you're going through a divorce, you have to provide evidence, and it's called discovery. And I know that Ralph feels pretty confident about the discovery that he has. I have pictures of them on my phone, but I wasn't going to say that on camera. Y'all shouldn't have left me in there with vodka that long. Now we see why she was pushing so hard for that adoption. Because she was like, adopt this child so I can go be in my gay lover relationship and you pay the bills. Well, I had heard Drew's a good time.
Baby, Courtney is like Drew's worst nightmare at this point, because like, oh my gosh. But my question is, how was Courtney even getting all of this information? According to the timeline of the show, you haven't even known Ralph that long, so you have all of this information. You supposedly got pictures of Ty and Drew, like, you know, on her phone and all this stuff. It's just crazy. It is crazy. And it's like Courtney just has all this, like, I don't know what it is. It's like she's just coming for Drew so hard. It's like Drew never did anything to this girl. I could see if there was some underlying beef or whatever, but she's so team Ralph, and it's like, it is wild. Like, what did Drew do to you, Courtney? Like, what I want to know, because she's just coming at her so hard. And between Courtney talking, I could see Ralph talking or Mimi talking, because those are exes. I can understand that. But why is Courtney running her mouth so much? And then the other day, Rashida came out and said something like, oh yeah, Drew and Ty be vibing or whatever. I just need Drew to come out and say something. Come out and say something. Because everybody else is talking at this point, and it's just making Drew is not really looking good right now. And I know Ralph is not looking any better, but baby Drew, you not looking good. You're not looking good right now. Oh my gosh. And people are still on Courtney as well, because apparently on the Speak On It last night, she was going in on Drew's sister Allison about, like, talking about her mental health issues and things like that, so much to the point to where apparently the Speak On It had to be taken down, edited, and re-uploaded. I didn't even see the original version. I haven't seen the edited version, but from what I've been seeing, like, the comments of social media and things like that, that Courtney was getting dragged, so they kind of had to, tweak some things and re-upload it. That's why I just haven't even seen it as of yet. So let me know what you guys think about this whole thing with Drew, Ralph, and Courtney. I guess. I mean, and Ty. Ty hasn't said anything. I don't think she will. But Courtney is doing way, way, way too much for me. Okay? Some of these comments: Courtney deadass wrong for repeating rumors Ralph told her. I bet she was running back telling Ralph everything Drew said. That was very low of her. Nothing funny about this. And like, you talking about people's kids now? Like, come on. Why did she bring Drew's child into it? Is Ralph really her cousin? This is disgusting. Why will Courtney even speak on the adoption? This is a new low. And what is Ralph paying for? He ain't got no job. I don't like what's happening to Drew. This is a real person. Like, how much craziness does she have to experience? She's dealing with too much for all of this. And I believe Drew's father just recently passed away too, so it's crazy. It's crazy. And in this clip right here, Sheree is supposed to be, supposedly comforting Drew about everything, but Sheree dropped a bomb that her father had passed away. And of course, this is some months ago, but I think like back in March or whatever. And Drew was like, "Girl, what?" And then Sheree has a little moment where she's breaking down. So it's just, these people are hurting. And speaking of hurt, Sonya, she's talking about how she miscarried, and we all know, we see now that she's pregnant again, but she's talking about when she miscarried, and there was something wrong. She miscarried, and she had to tell her son Deuce that, the baby wasn't, that mommy lost the baby, and how devastating it was to her, because she wasn't really going to tell him at first, because kids don't really know the timelines of things. But yeah, she didn't want to keep lying to him, so she told him. And of course, he's a kid, he's sad, he's crying. His sister, or that he thought is there, is no longer there, so she's just having a hard time with that. But Dr. Jackie did warn her. She said, "Hey, you probably shouldn't be having Deuce this involved." But like Sonya said, at that point, it was too late. He was just in it. He was gung ho. He was ready. But we see now that the baby is coming. So prayerfully, this baby will make it, and Deuce can have his baby sibling. But yeah, man, these people are just going through a lot. It's a lot of hurt going on right now. So I just wish the best for everybody. And if Drew wants to come out and, like, tell her story or whatever, if she like want to come out with her dating Ty, or if they was just hooking up, or whatever was going on, she should be able to do that in her own time without people just throwing all her, her business out there like that. And yeah, it's just a lot going on. It's a lot. But let me know what you guys think about that. Real Housewives of Atlanta, season finale, season 15, season finale. And you guys saw the trailer. We all saw the trailer, the preview for the reunion next week. So, yeah, that is going to be coming. But thank you guys for watching. I hope I didn't, sound too crazy. Because, like I said, I didn't have my notes. But thank y'all for watching. Drop your comments below, and I'll check you guys in the next video.